gentlemen, we are live. It's time. What is going on, everybody? We are now live. Yeah, we are live here on the Around the Point Network YouTube channel on this Monday, January the 19th, 2026. And this is another live edition of Steve's Kitchen. I hope all of you had a wonderful weekend. I hope all of you got to do what you wanted to do over the weekend. How was your weekend? How was it? Oh, wait. I can't hear you, but I hope it was a good one. I hope you enjoyed yourself like I just mentioned only seconds ago. Yeah, bro, look, it's January 19th. January's almost out of here. We're about to get into February. And before you know it, it'll be springtime, it'll be the summer, and we'll be seeing all the sun and all that fun stuff. It snowed over the weekend over here. It snowed. So I had to shovel like crazy. I'm used to it by now. But outside of that, a couple of stuff went down in the wrestling world. I know Raw ended literally a couple of minutes ago. Raw ended. Raw was off the air now. I did watch Raw. It was live from Belfast, Northern Ireland at the SSE Arena. And look, basically, just to give you a heads up, because I already watched Raw, and I know there's some of you out there who probably haven't watched it yet. I understand there are things that happen, things are going on, you're at work, what have you. Also, real quick, happy MLK Day to those who celebrate. But yeah, look, I'm going to talk about what happened today on Raw here on the show. And because of that, there will not be a Raw rundown tomorrow because I'm already talking about Raw here on Steve's Kitchen. But likely next week when they're in Toronto, we'll go back to our regular programming, our regular schedule with Raw rundown on Tuesday. So I'm not going to lie. I've been enjoying the fact that, I'm doing this, talking about Raw right now and not on Tuesday. But hey, it is what it is. It's fine. We'll talk about Raw. I'll give my thoughts on what was the TNA debut on AMC, and also my thoughts on Genesis, and also the big news regarding Trey Miguel, and much more stuff here. So again, guys, if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button down below. Give this video a big old thumbs up. Share it through social media with all your friends out there. And also, if you guys are feeling generous here, want to leave a super chat, it does help out the channel. All right. If you want to be a channel member as well, again, it also helps out the channel. It's only $2.99 a month. Okay. Hit that join button that you see next to the subscribe button. All right. Let's get into this. Let's talk about Raw real quick. Raw was live today from, like I mentioned earlier, the SSE Arena from Belfast, Ireland. Couple of big reveals that happened on the show. A lot of wrestlers are entering the Royal Rumble. I know Gunther is wanting to enter the Rumble. I know, what is it, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Roxanne Perez, the entire Judgment Day, the women that is, are entering the Rumble, the Women's Rumble that is. Let me be more specific here, okay? I know Bayley and Lyra Valkyria are entering the Royal Rumble. Jey Uso, who's one half of the World Tag Team Champions, has officially entered the Royal Rumble. He won it last year. He wants to go back to back. I know, I'm pretty sure members of the Vision are entering the Rumble as well. But again, you like to see this. You like seeing talent announce themselves for the Rumble. I know on SmackDown, Cody was the first one to announce himself officially entering the Rumble after losing the title and other stuff like that. And yeah, we'll get into all that stuff. We'll get into all that. I think, again, it's cool that you're hearing talent entering the Rumble. It's that exciting time of the year again where kicking off the road to WrestleMania. It's literally next weekend. Holy shit. Let that sink in for a second. It's kicking up. It literally kicked up on everybody when you think about it, right? And then when you think about it too, um, you know, when you think about it also, this Saturday, it is Saturday night's main event, and it's also the return of the UFC on this time on Paramount, right? Their new home. I can't wait. It's gonna be an exciting time. We're so fucking back. So that's happening, right? But yeah, also on the show, we kicked off with Gunther and AJ Styles. They had their little back and forth. And basically, AJ wants another crack at Gunther, wants another shot at him, right? Because, again, we all saw what happened. He made him tap out last week on Raw. He made Gunther tap out, but the referee didn't see it. The referee didn't see it, right? We all saw what happened. And Gunther does not want no part of wrestling AJ again. However, there was a condition, I guess, if you will, that Gunther put out there for AJ. And AJ's like, yeah, whatever you want. That is, this time, if AJ were to lose again, he would retire. Basically, AJ's career is on the line, right? And he gave AJ to like the end of the night to think about it, right? And we found out later on in the night that, yeah, he is, because again, he talked to his wife. He spoke to his wife. And he has accepted. So at the Royal Rumble, it will be Gunther going one-on-one with the phenomenal AJ Styles, with AJ Styles' career on the line. So that is what's happening in Saudi Arabia. I know there's a lot of people who were under the idea, and by the way, the graphic is here, by the way. I didn't display it here, but I'll show you guys the graphic right here, right now, just to show you. That is the graphic, by the way, between AJ and Gunther. So it's official on January 31st at 2 p.m. Eastern, live from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. It is going down. And also, if you look at the Women's Rumble, some of the women that you see on the graphic, you see Rhea Ripley, you see Io Sky, Asuka, Lara Valkyria, Bayley, Raquel Rodriguez. Again, some of these women who we will be seeing in the Rumble. So there's that also. Okay. But yeah, I mean, look, AJ putting his career on the line. Let me get this. There you go. Much better. AJ putting his career on the line. Now, I know he did announce his retirement year. This will be it. That being said, I mean, are we really going to have him retire or literally this soon? Like, no, I'm sure you want a Mania moment. I think AJ gets to win here for the most part, and we'll eventually get his retirement year. But again, there's so much they can do. You know what I mean? So that's something to that's just something to keep an eye on. Weston writes here, I like watching Raw around this time. It gives you so much time to do other things. Absolutely. Absolutely. Like later, once this is over with, I can relax. I can be watching some stuff on, Netflix or whatever the case may be. And tomorrow, again, no Raw rundown because I'm talking about Raw right here as we speak. So just keep an eye on that. Then we got Becky Lynch and Maxine Dupree for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Before the match, we saw Natalya backstage telling Maxine Dupree that she will be with her at ringside, and we found out why. The match itself, I'll be honest, I'm good. I did not need to see them wrestle again. I know Becky got this big ovation. I know she got a heel promo on the crowd, being that she was in her country. And it looked like Maxine had the match won. And then Natty put Becky's foot on the bottom rope, and Maxine was in shock. Like, how can she do this? And then she got hit with the manhandle slam for the 1-2-3. But Natalya's turned on Maxine Dupree, and good, keep her away from the title picture. But this is also going to give people to feel bad for Maxine Dupree. I am aware of that. But thank you, Natty. Thank you. Also on the show, we had Dragon Lee, Penta, and Rey Mysterio versus the Division of Austin Theory, Bronson Reed, and Logan Paul, which I thought was a very, very good match for the most part. They did tease this whole brass knucks that Logan brought in for Austin Theory, but the referee saw it. Ray used it on Theory while nobody was watching. And then Penta hit the Mexican Destroyer on Austin Theory for the 1-2-3. I know Logan got chance in Ireland. Not so good, not so friendly. They don't know what they have, but that's just me, of course. I think AJ will retire at the Rumble because he wants to retire where it all started. I don't think so, bro. I think it's just too soon. There's so much you can make there's so much money on the table out there for an AJ, retirement tour. Do I trust them with this? No, I don't. I do not trust WWE doing a retirement tour for AJ, considering how they fumbled Cena's. Now, granted, it did big business for them. Now, is it going to do the same business that Cena's? No, by no means at all. But I just think it's too soon for him to retire. It's too soon. We did have El Grande Americano versus Javon Evans, but the referee the match was stopped during the commercial break when Javon, from what it looked like, hurt his shoulder. And I hope it's not that serious because it's, again, it would be sad if it is, considering that Javon Evans just showed up on the main roster 2 weeks ago and now he's getting hurt. I hope it's not a serious injury. I hope he makes a speedy. I hope it's not that serious, and I do hope that he's back in the ring sooner rather than later. Also on the show, you had the New Day wanting their shot at the tag titles. I think there'll be a fatal 4-way next week. Also, we had the main event of CM Punk and Finn Balor for the World Heavyweight Championship. Balor got this massive ovation in Ireland. And as you can expect, Balor came out to his old NXT theme song, which I hope they let him keep. Now, do I see them doing that next week? No. I think because they were in Ireland, we need to play this differently, right? So that's what basically happened. And look, it wasn't really a bad match. It was a very good back and forth. There are moments there where Balor was selling his leg being hurt. Balor kicked out of a GTS. Punk kicked out of the coup de grace. Again, it was going back and forth. And again, there was a moment there where you thought Balor had the match won, and the crowd were on their feet. Like, they literally thought Balor won the match. But when it was all said and done, CM Punk, GTS, 1, 2, 3, and he's still the World Heavyweight Champion. I didn't think he was dropping his title. I didn't think he was going to lose in Ireland, right? But then again, just never say never, right? Never say never. And at the end, like, Punk went over, he helped them get up, and he endorsed them. They hugged, and it looked like, because again, they put the lower third in the bottom and the credits, and you thought there for a sec, okay, maybe they're gonna have what's it called? They're gonna have Balor attack. No, nothing at all. Also, we find out as well. But again, overall, good showing by Finn Balor, right? He made his country proud. Also, we found out that next week on Raw, Braun Breaker will be there to talk to Adam Pearce because Pearce got a phone call. If you guys remember last week, Braun Breaker put his hands on Adam Pearce. But if you saw, Pearce put his hands on Braun Breaker first. So we got a phone call. We don't know who called him. We don't know. So we'll see what happens. I think Balor, I think Balor will be in the Rumble as well. I even think Braun Breaker is going to be a major favorite to win the Royal Rumble. They need to keep that Balor theme song. Weston, I 100% agree. I hope this means Balor gets a push and maybe wins the Rumble. Let's pump the brakes. Let's pump the brakes on winning the Rumble. I do think I'm sure he'll be in the match. But as far as him winning the Rumble, Let's pump the brakes on that. Let's pump the brakes. Also, as far as WWE goes, um, as far as the WWE goes, on SmackDown this past Friday, I don't know how many of you guys. Oh, no. You can't. There you go. I almost exit out the fucking stream. Holy shit. Would have been a major disaster like TNA's debut on AMC. I kid. But if you watch SmackDown this past Friday, we now know who are the four competitors who will be challenging in the Fatal 4-Way at Saturday night's main event this coming Saturday to see who will go to the Royal Rumble and challenge Drew McIntyre. It will be Randy Orton, who defeated The Miz, right? He defeated The Miz in the opening match on SmackDown. Damian Priest, who defeated Solo Sikoa with help of Uncle Howdy. Trick Williams, who beat Matt Cardona like it was nothing. And then Matt Cardona got attacked by Kit Wilson, who I will say his theme song is so fucking catchy. It is. No shame in admitting that. And of course, Sami Zayn, who I thought had the match of the night on Friday, defeated Ilya Dragunov to earn a spot here. And look, I think Sami wins here. I think Sami Zayn gets the win, considering the fact that they're in Montreal this Saturday. And then also the Rumbles in Saudi Arabia. You know he is going to get a massive ovation in Saudi Arabia. No questions asked. Also, on Saturday night's main event, it is confirmed it will be Cody Rhodes versus Jacob Fatu after the brawl they had. So that should be something to keep an eye on. I don't think there'll be a winner here. I think it will be a no contest. Because I don't think you want to just beat, Jacob Fatu. Just came back, and you're not going to beat Cody back to back after losing the title to Drew. So we'll see how that goes. And also, it will be Rio of Io Sky and Rhea Ripley defending the women's tag titles against the Judgment Days of Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. So just keep an eye on that. I'm pretty sure they'll add another match. I just don't know what that could be. I just don't want to sit here and have this idea that it'll only be 3 matches. I hope that's not the case. I hope not. But you just never know. Also, on SmackDown this past Friday, Carmelo Hayes had this open challenge, and he had a banger with TNA's X Division champion, Leon Slater, who was not able to travel to the States for the TNA on AMC debut. He was supposed to defend the title against Myron Reed, but as you guys already know, Myron Reed is now part of AEW, which we'll get into in just a sec here. And he was also not able to travel to be at Genesis. So they decided to have Leon Slater, because they were in London, let him wrestle Carmelo Hayes, let him issue the open challenge. And I thought overall it was a fun match. Leon Slater is one of those guys you should keep an eye on. Whenever he's wrestling, watch his match. Dude's insanely talented, right? Granted, when I've had him lose, does it suck that he lost back-to-back? Like he lost in NXT to Obafemi, and now here he is losing to Carmelo Hayes. I mean, again, it was a fun fucking match. But yeah, I think once his deal is up, I don't know when his deal is up. I don't know when his TNA deal is up. But once that deal is up, brother, he's making his way to WWE. It's happening. It's happening. And good for him. Good for him. But yeah, that was your little WWE portion here. Now let's get into TNA Genesis. My bad. Let's get to the debut. Let's get into let me get this out of the way here. There you go. Let me get into the premiere here. The TNA premiere on AMC from this past Thursday. How do I put this in a way that people can comprehend? Because again, there was so much like anticipation to see what TNA was going to do on this show, right? And again, they announced AJ Styles was going to be there, right? And they kicked off the show with AJ, right? And this show was live from the Curtis Caldwell Center in Dallas, Texas. This was their debut on AMC. The first time they were on a major network since leaving Spike TV in 2014. So keep in mind, TNA has been, been tossed around for the last couple of years and so many other channels. Like they were at one point on Destination America, then they went to Pop TV, then they went to the Pursuit channel, and then they eventually landed on Access. So they were tossed around, okay? And they finally got this deal with AMC, which is a big fucking deal, right? And I know for a lot of people, again, there was so much anticipation to see what were they going to do. People had all these high expectations. And you watch the show, and I did. Me and the boys, we watched the show. And if you're a channel member, you were able to watch with us. If you were an ATP channel member, you were able to watch the show with us. And I always believe that it's important to leave a first impression, a good first impression. Because let's be honest, there's a lot of people who probably tuned in on Thursday who probably watch shows on AMC and hey, they see that there's wrestling on. Okay, what's happening here, right? And I felt like they under-delivered on their debut. When you have production that looks like they filmed on an iPad. Now, look, I always believe presentation's important. So when I'm watching the show and I'm seeing the production, the audio being off, like, look, I've seen a bunch of indie shows on Triller TV, the former Fight TV app, okay, who don't have the budget that TNA has or anything like that, or the TV deal, right? They don't have that. But I've seen indie shows on Fight TV, on Triller, whatever you want to call them, that have had better production than what TNA put out on Thursday. A show that had 3 matches on the show, just 3 matches, right? And it just took a nosedive. AJ opened the show welcoming everyone to the house that he built. Again, so much thought, like, oh, what would AJ be doing on the show? Was he gonna wrestle? They teased a match with Kazarian at one point, right, for the title, and that's not gonna happen now, right? But he welcomed everyone and he said, let's create chaos. From there, we had the Hardys, Matt and Jeff, who got probably the biggest ovation out of everyone on the show. They are their main attraction. Let that sink in for a second. And look, shout out to the Hardys. They're still out there doing the damn thing. Matt can barely walk, and Jeff has like a swollen disc in his back or something like that, and they're out there still doing the damn thing. And then they brought out Elijah, the former Elias, who's still doing the Elias gimmick, but now under a new name. For those of you who probably have stopped, well, never even watched TNA, right? And they're out there, they're wrestling the Order 4 of Mustafa Ali, Jason Hotch, and John Schuyler. And the match, for the most part, I mean, look, it was okay. Nothing to go really crazy about, like, oh my God, right? But they got the win, that being the Hardys and Elijah, right? And after the match, the Righteous, Vincent and Dutch, they attacked the Hardys after the match, and Vincent basically proceeds to lock Jeff Hardy by the earlobe to the ring ropes as they attacked Matt Hardy. So the visual itself just looked very, very like grueling. But the one thing I'll say, so the Hardy Boys come out to the ring to get this ovation, and they brought out like these 2 like influencers. Like one of them wrestles for TNA, and they were like, oh, they're streaming live as this is happening, and they were not. But if you watch like the footage from their phone, there's a lot of empty seats. I really felt like they did a poor job, that being TNA, on showcasing or making it seem like the building is packed when reality was not, right? And then after this, right after this, we saw, like I mentioned before, AJ and Frankie Kazarian backstage. Kazarian saying if AJ has anything to say to him, it should be thank you for the house. And then Styles says thanks and walked away. And then they proceeded to show the celebrities, the celebrities that I guess are part of AMC. They showcased Virgil Ortiz, who's a boxing champion, right? They showcased these influencers that you all probably watch and listen to, what have you, that were sitting there. And I'll say this: look, shout outs to them. Do what you got to do. I know TNA let them be on the show, right? To showcase them. I think that was cool. But did anyone in TNA not think, hey, you know what? Let's showcase the influencers in a better way. Instead of just having them sit somewhere in the middle or in the back there behind a lot of the empty seats, why not have them sit in the front row? Right? Because after all, a lot of these wrestling promotions rely heavy on the social media influencers, right? These reaction channels, whatever it may be, whether you love them or hate them, a lot of these promotions rely on them, right? The word to mouth. And I feel like because again, you see them, right? And they're out there and they're waving the red TNA flag and shit. I won't be honest, like watching this, it looked cringe as all hell. I felt like TNA could have done a better job at showcasing the influencers. Like, hey, let's put one of them involved in a backstage interview. Have them interview one of the wrestlers. I don't fucking know, but that's just one man's opinion. Keep that in mind, okay? They even showcased Candice Michelle, who was there in the crowd. So I don't know if she lives out in Texas or not. Don't have a clue. Then we got Ryan Nemeth like going at it with one of the guys from one of the AMC shows, right? And then he crotched himself on the barricade and got punched by Marseille. Like, what are we doing? Right? Such a poor shit show, but whatever. And then Santino Marella welcomed everyone to the AMC era, and he introduced his new assistant, Daria Ray, who all of you probably know as Sonya Deville. And Daria says that the one thing the company does not need is Santino. We don't need your jokes or comedy relief. We need structure, discipline, and professionalism. So basically, Daria, by the way, I don't know if you knew this or not, but I guess she announced herself that being right, Daria Ray, right, is on a TNA contract for 6 months. So TNA is giving out the old college semester contracts here, the 1 semester deals, basically. And keep in mind, like TNA, a lot of the talent left. A lot of portion of the talent that were there are no longer there. Just keep that in mind. But after this, she introduced the newest knockout, none other than Elena Black, the former Cora Jade. And she got literally no pop. No fucks were given. I wish her the best. Would I put the knockouts title on? Would I put the knockouts title on her? No, not right away. But it's TNA. They're gonna TNA. We also saw AJ backstage speaking to Mike Santana, telling him to kick Kazarian's ass. And then we got the segment that I thought was like, bro, this show just took a complete fucking nosedive. Like, there's no coming back from this, right? And that is the introduction of the newest member of the Elegance brand, Mr. Elegance. So they had like the Elegance brand there in the ring, and they also had Perez Hilton For whatever reason, I don't know how much they paid Perez Hilton to be there, but he was there, right? He was fucking there. Like, hey, look, TNA, hey guys, look, TNA here. We don't have the Rascals anymore. We don't have Jake something no more. But, 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 we got Perez Hilton. We got Perez Hilton. That's who we got. Perez fucking Hilton. There you go. That's who we have. That's who we have. You know, and yeah, it just felt cringe. They revealed some random guy from, I guess, from the Independents as Mr. Elegance. It just looked so cringe. And then after this, the Elegance brand defeated they defeated the Inspiration of Jesse McKay and Casey Lee for the Knockouts tag titles. And by the way, the Inspiration are no longer in TNA. I thought this was on last night. Guy retired and Styles was on. Yeah, look. So if I don't know again, I don't know if you watch Raw yet, but Raw already happened, right? And tonight on Raw, because they were in Europe, they announced that it'll be AJ and Gunther at the Royal Rumble. And if AJ loses, his career will be over. There you go. Gave you little spark notes there. From there, the Elegance brand, no pop, threatened to send Indy Hartwell back to Australia. From there, we saw, what's it called? Lei Ying Lee, who is the Knockouts champion, issue an open challenge to anyone, and out came Sol Ruka and Zarya. And Zarya will be the one to challenge Ying Lee, right? We found out also that Leon Slater will be replaced by Joe Hendry at Genesis, and we'll get to that also in a bit. Basically, also on the show, Carlos Silva introduced Dixie Carter, and I shit you not, she got the most boos on this fucking show. She got booed. People remember the damn Dixie. People remember the bad times of Dixie Carter when she was running TNA. But I think people also forget, if it wasn't for the Carter family, right, and Dixie Carter and her parents, providing the funds to run TNA, the Jarretts would have had TNA for 6 months at best. Just keep that in mind. And then the main event happened, right? The main event, Mike Santana beat Frankie Kazarian. I thought their match was good. Probably the best thing on the show, without a shadow of a doubt. But then again, I don't think Mike Santana needed to lose the title in the first place. But here we are, right? Got the belt back, and then we found out that at Genesis, it was going to be, they're going to run it back as a Texas death match with Nick Nemeth as the referee. Again, I felt like they did a bad job at leaving a good first impression on your debut episode. Furthermore, it was a go-home show to your pay-per-view. Even worse. I do hope, for their sake, they bounce back. Now, am I going to sit here and tell you guys that I'm reviewing TNA every single fucking week? No. I think there's a lot of creators who were probably going into the show, watching it, willing to give it a chance, willing to give it a review on a weekly basis after what they saw this past Thursday. They're like, yeah, I'm good. I'm fucking good. But then we got to the pay-per-view. We got to the fucking pay-per-view. We got to Genesis. And I thought overall Genesis was a much improved than whatever they gave you on Thursday. By a mile. Completely 180. Right? I didn't really get to catch any of the but the pre-show bullshit. But I saw that Tessa Blanchard was on the pre-show. I'm like, what are we doing? Why is she on the pre-show? It's ridiculous. But whatever. It is what it is. We kicked off the show with AJ Francis and Rich Swann. I thought for the most part, believe it or not, I did not hate the match. I thought what they did out there as far as an opener, I thought it was a pretty solid opener for the most part. Basically, AJ Francis was working on the attack on Rich Swann, and for the most part, it was an entertaining match where Rich Swann did not get the win. Francis did get the win after this, so there was that. Mustafa Ali and Elijah went at it. Like, look, these guys, I feel like they've wrestled before in the Fed. So, yeah, I mean, look, Mustafa Ali got the win, which that was good to see. So there was that. Eddie Edwards versus JDC. This was JDC's retirement match. The former Fandango, Johnny Curtis, whatever you want to call him, right? I thought this was for a retirement match. Thought it was fine, right? Eddie Edwards did get the win, and then we're gonna find out this Thursday who will be the newest member of the system. From there, Ryan Nemeth and Mara Said, yeah, I'm good. That was probably the worst thing on the show. Lei Ying Lee defending the Knockout Championship against Zarya. I thought it was a very entertaining match. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I literally thought, because it's a WWE talent going up against a TNA talent, that they're gonna have WWE talent go over in this one. And no, Lei Ying Lee got the W here, so that's cool to see. We had the Hardys and the Righteous. I thought this match was just very, very stupid at the end there. So there's a moment near the end of the match where Vincent is just sacrificing himself, right, to eat the finishers. And then I think it was Dutch who got on the mic and said, oh, this is what we wanted the whole time. Embrace the hurt. So they sacrificed themselves. And they lost. So the Hardys retained. So, yeah, it just came off so fucking stupid. If you're into the oogly boogly Bray Wyatt White 6 bullshit, this is up your alley, I guess. Joe Henry, Cedric Alexander, and Moose, I thought put on a very good match. There's a moment in the match where Moose takes like this backdrop on the outside, and his back hits the steel step, the bottom portion of the steps. So for a moment there, people were in panic. People were wondering what's going to happen with Moose. And Moose got back in the ring, wrestled. He was hurt, right? But when it was all said and done, Joe Henry got the win. Yeah, let's get the WWE guy to go over here. Now, what did this do for Joe Henry? Nothing really. He's with WWE now. So, yeah. And then we got the world title match, Mike Santana versus Frankie Kazarian in a Texas death match with special guest referee Nick Nemeth. I thought this match was very, very confusing as far as the rules. So in order to have the referee count your opponent to 10, you had to pin the person first, which was so fucking dumb. Okay. But people were wondering, would Nick Nemeth cash in his his Call Your Shot Gauntlet trophy? People were wondering that. And when the match was over, like, look, Santana won as you'd expect, right? Nick Nemeth went to cash in, but he got attacked by Santana. So that's how they closed the show. Again, I thought, and again, it doesn't say much. Not by much. Oh my God, this was a massive improvement. No. But I did think overall it was better than the AMC debut, but it's not really saying much, and TNA needs to really get their shit together. They really, really do. They got to get their shit together as we continue. Again, this is not a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon, right? It's a marathon, not a sprint. So I hope they get their shit together. I hope that they're able to figure this out. Also, real quick, as far as the AAA news goes, I don't know how many of y'all watch AAA, but Santos Escobar, you guys may know, was re-signed to WWE a while back on a new deal, more money, and it looked like they have nothing for him, right? Well, he showed up at AAA under a mask, under his Hijo del Fantasma mask, and he confronted El Hijo de Dr. Wagner. And he attacked him, took off his mask. It was Santos Escobar. He held up the AAA, I guess, Latin American Championship, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, his hair is short now. He has some eyeliner, but good to see him back. Good to see him back. Good to see him finally out there doing the damn thing, and good for him. Also on the show, my bad, moving on here, let's get some AEW discussion here. So this Wednesday, Dynamite, you have the Death Riders versus the Don Callis family. You have John Moxley with Wheeler Useless and another useless, Daniel Garcia, for the Death Riders against the Don Callis family of Hechicero, Rocky Romero, and Lance Archer in a street fight. Oh boy. You're also going to have Megan Bain and the returning Penelope Ford, who asked for this, to go up against the Timeless Love Bombs. Oh boy. You're also going to have Samoa Joe going one-on-one with 1/3 of the new AEW Trios champion, Speedball Mike Bailey, and of course, Kenny Omega versus Josh Alexander. That should be a fun match to watch. Also, it was announced that over the weekend, Zeta Steel was all elite. Zeta Steel was all elite. But I'm sure you also saw what happened, right? On Wednesday, AEW posted a graphic of the Rascals coming soon to AEW. Now, when the news came out about the Rascals, everyone thought, okay, all 4 guys have signed, right? That being Desmond Xavier. I almost called him Wesley. I'm sorry, it's a fucking habit. All right, Desmond Xavier, Zachary Wentz, Myron Reed, and Trey Miguel, the 4 members of the Rascals. So if you watch Collision, for those of you that watch Collision, in the little backstage segment or promo that they did, right, with Lexi Nair, where she opens the door and all the smoke came out, right? You notice instead of 4 members, it was 3 members of the Rascals that were there. That being Desmond Xavier, Zachary Wentz, and Myron Reed. They were going as the Rascals. People were wondering, where is Trey Miguel? What's going on? Why Trey Miguel wasn't there, right? And I want to point this out because it was announced that Trey Miguel got his release from AEW. Furthermore, this was Trey Miguel's Twitter on the left side before Collision. You notice Trey Miguel pinned on his Twitter, right? The Rascals coming to AEW, right? And then after Collision, that pinned tweet was gone, right? So people were speculating what causes, right? What's happened here? What the hell is going on, right? And then Trey Miguel, I believe yesterday on his Instagram, posted that he's taking a break from wrestling. Leave him alone. Don't tag him. Leave him alone. Go support the Rascals. To which we find out today that it came from someone above. People were wondering, maybe that's Tony Khan. Maybe that's people in Warner Bros. Discovery. So people were, again, speculating what happened, right? People, again, started to speculate of what happened here, what is going on. And then it was revealed that this stems from some of the stuff that he said many, many years ago online. Some stuff that I guess people deem as inappropriate, right? We're talking many, many years. We're talking 2019, 2018, somewhere around that time, right? And I guess people in Warner Bros. Discovery found this stuff or they heard about this and they're like, yeah, we can't have you here. Right? To which Trey Miguel posted this on Twitter today. This is his Twitter today. This is what he said. I've made a lot of mistakes in my time. I've always apologized and did my best to put a better foot forward after. I don't preach hate and I don't take any pride in being hateful. I'm a man of faith. I believe in forgiveness and only ever preach that. I'm a different man today. So this has a lot to do with the stuff that he posted online many years ago. Now, I'm a firm believer that yes, people can change. Am I a fan of cancel culture? No, I'm not. I'm not. I know we live now in this day and age of the wrestling community where that's the first thing people go to. You know, it's very, very contradicting, right? That they do this to him, but not to someone else, right? It's very, very unfortunate. I do think that Trey Miguel deserves an opportunity to showcase who he is as a performer. I do believe that, you know. And I want you to also keep this in mind too. There could be a lot of people in the wrestling space within the media who will not pick up on this, who will stay quiet. And I understand why. I get it. You do not want to lose your seat at the media scrum. You don't want to lose that credential. You don't want to lose Tony not allowing you to interview wrestlers on your channels, on your shows. And that's fine. I get it. Play the game. Play the fucking game. I understand. I'm not mad at it. I don't agree with it, but I'm not mad at it. I do think, again, it's unfortunate what happened. Look, we all make mistakes. We've all said some shit. I'm pretty sure years ago that if you look back on it now, you're not proud of. No one's fucking perfect. But that's the problem. A lot of fans want to act like there's this perfect being. Like they can't do no fucking wrong. But again, we'll see where all this goes. I do hope, for their sake, that they do lift this up. Because here's the thing, too. You know for a fact, this will be brought up in interviews. Whenever they interview Tony, they will ask about this. And Tony will give his usual default answer and walk around the question. But time will tell. Time will fucking tell. But again, best of luck to Trey Miguel. Best of luck to him. Okay? That being said, guys, that's going to be it for me. Unless something else happened that's crazy enough. But yeah, that's going to be it for me. Just to give you the heads up, there will not be a Raw rundown tomorrow, being that I talked about Raw here on Steve's Kitchen today. I'll be back Thursday for another edition of Something About Dynamite, where I will recap all the stuff that's going to go down this Wednesday on AEW Dynamite, such as Kenny Omega versus Josh Alexander. You have a street fight, trios street fight between the Death Riders of Jon Moxley, who is the AEW Continental Champion, Wheeler Useless, and another useless Daniel Garcia against Hechicero, Rocky Romero, and Lance Archer of the Don Callis family. I already know who's eating the pin in this match, so whatever. You also have Megan Bain, the returning Penelope Ford, going up against the Timeless Love Bombs. You also have Samoa Joe going one-on-one with the one third of the new AEW Trios champion, Speedball Mike Bailey. So there's that. All right. Again, also this Saturday night's main event, it is Cody versus Jacob Fatu. It is Randy Orton versus Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams versus Damian Priest. The winner of this match goes to the Royal Rumble to face Drew McIntyre. And of course, you have Rio, who are the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, going up against the team of Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez of the Judgment Day. So that's Saturday night's main event. That's going to be it for me, guys. Much love to all of you who tuned in. If you're watching on the playback, if you've not yet followed me on social media, it's at Heel Steven. Also, follow the Around the Point Network over on X at AT Point Network. And yeah, I'll be back Thursday for another live edition of Something About Dynamite. All right. But until then, for myself, for the gang, this has been Steve's Kitchen here on the Around the Point Network. Peace out, y'all.
Listen. Fuck up. Get out.